Today we're going to do some work outside, because what we got to do today is the TOR helmet does not have the upper ridge right here. So I'm going to put some Bondo, wonderful Bondo, staple of costuming of this sort, here to smooth it out, to make it flat. Then, oops, I'm going to use some Sintra to remake the V for the visor right here, because the one that they have is much sharper. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this and cut it out in the shape that I want, with a little and everything, and then I'm going to Bondo it onto the helmet itself. So the first thing that you have to do, now that we've sanded all the paint down, it looks very battle worn, so we need to make a rougher surface for the Bondo to adhere to, because we don't want it to pop off, so it needs something to really hold on to. So we're going to use some much rougher sandpaper, and we're going to rough it up here, and then around here, so that when I put the pieces on after I cut them out, they're going to really stick and stay, and I won't have to worry about them popping off later. Alright, now we're going to start taking the Bondo that I've mixed up and put it here and smooth it on. When the stuff dries really quickly, and it will ruin your clothes, so definitely wear old clothes during this. I'm going to do it all the way around to get rid of this little ridge here that was on there because this was a legacy helmet that Phelan made, and not, of course, a TOR helmet, because nobody's making those yet. So, smooth that on, and if you're doing this on a really hot day, this stuff will dry extremely fast. So you probably want to mix it up in small batches, but it's a cooler day here today. It's about 60, 62 here. So it's not drying as fast, and it's making this process a whole lot easier for me, because I have a little more time to smooth. And it's probably going to take more than one coat, so I'll have to let this dry and then come back and put more on later to actually hide this ridge. Most people don't recommend doing it with your hands, but you know, it's one of those do as I say, not as I do. You really should probably wear gloves while you're doing this. This stuff is not necessarily good for your skin. I don't know. But it does come off with a little bit of water once it gets gummy, so it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Put it on there decently thick, because you're going to have to sand down and make it smooth again. If it's not thick, it's just going to not be enough. And it's okay if you get a little bit, somewhere that you don't want it. You can always sand it off later. It's not that big of a deal. It's just Bondo. It sands down really easy. That's why we use it. So, hello kitties. Just keep going around until you've used it all up. And then you're going to sit it down and let it dry. You need to do this outside, because this stuff smells. Like, really smells. You don't want that smell in your house. What I'll probably do is I'll sand down this first coat that I'm putting on, and then I'll put on a second coat on the low spots as needed. So while we're waiting on the helmet to dry outside, I'll come back inside. I want to sketch the outline of the T-visor so that I can trace it onto here and then cut it out of the centra and then bondo that onto the helmet so that it has the right T-visor since it's so different from the one that's already there. Alright, now I've drawn my templates on to the centra. One for each side. And I'm going to take Dremel and cut it out. Pieces are going to go everywhere. It's going to be really messy. Definitely want to use one of these when you're sanding the bondo and when you're dremeling. Stuff gets in the air. It's really nasty. Really, really bad. So I'm going to put this on. It's kind of hard with my ball cap. There we go. And now I'm ready to work. Now that we have our pieces cut out of centra, what we need to do is take and sand all these rough edges down so that they're smooth. That's what I'm going to do. Take a rough grit sandpaper and you just smooth them all down so that you don't have any rough edges when you put this piece on the helmet. Now, the good thing about centra is you can heat it up and it becomes malleable. You can sit it on the helmet and then actually bend it and hold it in place so that it has the right shape. If it's not quite right, you can heat it back up and do it again. I've already done the other side, so you can see now this is curved and ready to be stuck onto the helmet so I can build up the other places. Because if you look, and put it on here, there are still places that I will need to trim off or sand down to make it line up correctly. Alright, so this is all I'm going to be able to get done today because the weather's taking a turn and storms are moving in. So, once I went to apply my template, I realized it was a little off, so I had to cut it into 2 pieces, but I'll go back and fill in the spots to make it look right once the weather cooperates and I can get back outside and work some more. But as you can see, it's starting to take shape now. Starting to get the general look of the TOR Bounty Hunter with the much more sharp corners on the V instead of the curves like the Legacy. So hopefully next weekend the weather will be better, or maybe it'll clear up tomorrow and I can get some more stuff done.